But my friends, I had a full body, well-rounded practice planned for today, some extra quad stretching and some extra wrist and shoulder stretching coming your way. So when you're ready, let's please begin class in child's pose. So listening to me as we go, I'm gonna be your leader, but just remember, if you see me at the computer, don't follow me. I'm just gonna let people in as they come to class. And most importantly, listening to our bodies. So as we ease down on the ground, maybe not dropping directly into child's pose, maybe giving a little twist or turn, maybe a little roll through your spine or a look over your shoulders, and then find an easy way to find the earth. For our first one, let's close our knees together and drop our bellies over them. Speaking of props, blankets and pillows are also wonderful props. If you ever feel uncomfortable in how you're positioned, so here under belly and in between thighs, we could have a nice blanket. It's a great way to hug into your internal organs and press against the front of your spine. Taking a few breaths in here, and as we are breathing through our child's poses, let's envision jellyfish, not in a scary way, in a breath-filled way. So feeling breath coming in and out through the side bodies, through the back body, through your belly. Even noticing the rise and flow through the top of your head and out through the back of your bodies. Taking a moment possibly to rock your belly over your thighs, shifting your weight to the left and the right as if your thighs were rolling pins, working into the digestive system here. And energizing our arms when we come back to stillness, reaching way far overhead, tenting your fingertips like little suction cups, and lifting up through the underside of your arms. As we do, starting to pull the hips back a little bit further. And then try to drop more chin to chest, more top of head towards the floor. Rounding up a little bit through the spine. We're going to begin to arch our back like an angry cat to the sky. Shin tucks the chest again. Hands begin to walk behind us and attempt to hold on to the heels as you press just a little bit of weight through the top of your head and round your back to the sky like an angry cat. This posture is called hare pose. We just have to be really careful that we're soft on our necks. Really soft. So we try to push our hips and back to the sky, which is lifting through the neck. So there's not much weight landing there. A beautiful spinal awakener. We're going to go one more big breath in this posture. Exhale, releasing back buns to heels. Fingers come under your shoulders to rise into tabletop. And since we're going to be on our knees in tabletop, if you'd like to use a blanket or roll your mat over so your knees are really comfy, let's get cozy here. And just move left and right, kind of like a rocking ship would have you kind of moving every which way, back and forth, diagonals and sideways. Moving weight forward and back into wrists, into fingertips. Swivel your right hand out, fingers out, and maybe all the way back towards your knees. And then begin to move hips back to heels and try to stretch the heel of your hand if it's facing your knees. Feel that big forearm stretch? Especially nice when you've been doing a lot of typing. Shifting back forward. Unspin that hand, and then let's take the left hand the same way. Fingers any degree of a spin out. And if you have them facing your knees, once you get a few movements here and there, we can shift our hips back and take some breaths in here. Attempting to lift the heel of your hand as you shift back while you push forward with your forearms. One more swivel back forward and let the tops of your hands fall flat. Now, if possible, turning all 10 fingertips to face one another and then starting to drop like little push-ups. So I have fingers facing the middle of my mat and then I'm dropping down, elbows bending and rise. Flare your fingers open really wide. We're working now into the back of our wrists. Let's take 2 more big breaths as we move here. Inhaling and exhaling. And then come back to normal with your wrists. If they feel too sensitive, you can make fists. Let's tuck our right toes back behind us and just get a little pulse. Toes to heels, press and press. Lengthening out through your right calf. Try the other toes when you're ready. Left toes push back, just pulse a little bit here. Really nice to warm up the shoulders too. 2 more pulses. All right, let's connect with our breath with a little movement. Back into your tabletop. If your wrists get tired, please fall to forearms. We're gonna extend our right arm and our left leg, long pointer, and then crunch elbow towards your knee. Round into a cheetah, exhale. Inhale, arms come out long from the legs, pointer. Exhale, diagonal pointer, reach out to the sides. Roll through the front and back, inhale. Exhale into your cheetah. Now let's really move with breath. Inhale. Exhale, diagonal pointer. Center, inhale. Exhale, cheetah. One more big breath-filled practice. In and out. In and out. Finish with that cheetah and hold strong here. 3 seconds. Crunch belly in. 2 and 1. Before we move on, yogis, tuck your toes. Let's crouch back and give our poor knees a break. And when you crouch, your knees are hovering, but you're getting a great stretch to the bottoms of your feet and the backs of your ankles. Keep pressing back like you're a little frog about to hop forward. And when you feel good, roll back to tabletop. Let's go left arm, right leg, pointer. We want to reach long away from one another. Exhale, crunch, elbow to knee or nose to knee. Inhale, extend. And diagonal reach. We have a big breath out here. In breath, forward and back. Out breath, cheetah. In breath, out breath. You know the drill. Let's go one more. Big breath in. Find your belly. Find your back length. And now use outer shoulder and outer thigh. One more, reach forward. Exhale, crunch into your cheetah, but hang on to it, yogis, for 3, 2, 1 more big crunching breath in. Find your way back to tabletop. Let's kneel for a moment. If possible, keep toes tucked. Squeeze knees together and then walk your knees forward. If this is uncomfortable for you, tops of feet can be flat or you can sit your buns down. Just a little bit of arms, getting our shoulders really warm before we begin. Arms up and overhead. You may know this one. We're gonna clasp our hands, squeeze them into a fist, and then flare them open. Squeeze open, squeeze open. As fast as you can. But yogis, we have to stay super relaxed in our facial muscles. So this is what starts to happen. Watch me real quick. I'll be like, it gets so hard so fast and we start to grip on tight. So what we learn in yoga is that we can handle the hard stuff with our breath. We can release and let go where we don't need tension. All that needs to be tense right now is maybe your toes if you're sitting on them, but the wrists and the fingers overhead. Stay with it. Way to wake up, not just your hands and wrists, but your shoulders. If they're too tired, we have about 10 more seconds. You can reach forward. If they're too tired, you can reach back. Have you lost control of your fingers yet? I almost did. 4 seconds. 3 seconds. 2 and 1. Let your arms fall. Do you feel all those tingles? Energy. Energy, the best. Beautiful. Come off the tops of your toes and sit any way that's comfy. Arms rise overhead, connect with breath. Exhale, arms in goalpost. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, clasp behind low back, either with hands or holding your elbows. Try again. Inhale, rise. Goalpost. Inhale. Exhale. We're gonna add some new on. Inhale, arms rise. Left arm falls, right arm reaches, but take your time, yogis. Really stretch, should feel so good. Inhale, lift. Right arm falls, tip over. Inhale, rise. Goalpost, hold for a moment and press your elbows forward in a way to encourage our chests to rise. Inhale, arms. Hands clasped behind low back. Stay this time and forward fold, just to the point where your buns stay on your heels. Invite movement anytime you feel like you would enjoy some. Inhale, rise. One more round like that. Breath comes in. Left arm falls, reach. Inhale, center. Right arm falls, reach. Inhale, center. Goalpost, scoop your heart up. Inhale, rise. Clasp hands behind low back. But can you take your normal grasp and then switch all fingers by one so it feels a bit unfamiliar? Exhale, fold. And then if you'd like a little rock and roll here, a little curl, whatever feels great. Rise back to seated, and one more stretch before we begin. Wrap your knuckles right here, see this, around your left side, and drop your ear towards your left shoulder. Let's try not to lean. We're gonna sit up really tall and just drop our ear, neck, and shoulder stretch. It's okay if you don't have your hands clasped. Another way to go about it is to keep your right fingers straight, see them? And then you can hold and kind of pull around the corner here. Back to center with your neck. Unclasp your hands and rest them on your thighs. Chin to chest. And then chin to sky. Try to sit up really tall here through your back body. Just your head and neck are moving. Inhale. Exhale. One more round. Hands around the low back again, whether you're clasped your hands or we can just work our left forearm over and then kind of pull around that corner there. Want to wrap our hands or reach our hands around the right side. Feel okay? And then as soon as we get there, ear on the right side drops to the shoulder. Want to feel a lot of stretch and lengthening through the whole left side over here. Wherever we're feeling sensations all through class, let's try to breathe all of our breath down into those areas. Take one more big breath in. When you're ready, back to center. Hands come down and we find our tabletop. If you stayed kneeling the whole time, you could have the tingles in the tops of your feet. So you either tuck your toes and just move around a little bit, or you can tap your feet on the ground. Try to enliven and awaken them. And then when you feel good, tuck your toes, walk your hands towards your knees, and then rise. So we were talking about props in the beginning. If you had yoga blocks at home or textbooks of equal size, you could use that to build your floor up, and you'd use them as an enhancement to your practice. I love yoga props. Take a deep forward fold. Allow your head, the crown, the very tip top of your head, to hang to the earth, and then give yourself a no, as in I have no time for this neck tension, shake. And then a big, yes, it's Friday. Yes, it's Yoga Friday. And yes, I am ready to move my body and energize myself. Shake. Take a little bit of a relaxing still neck stretch, chin to chest, top of head to floor, and tiny bit by bit, roll your spine to the sky. Rounded at our backs. Shoulders heavy, top of head is going to be the last thing to rise to the sky. When you're there, big breath in, arms rise, that felt good. Chair pose, sink your buns down. Chest is open, but if it's tough with arms overhead, you take them wherever feels good to you. Forward fold from here. Right leg long lunge back. As you lunge back, let your hips be really heavy. Think about sinking into warm sand. Just kind of sway a little here and there. Drop your knee and let's twist. Left arm rising. Once you get twisted, eye gaze can look towards the fingertips if that feels good. Stretch overhead, elbow by the ear, and then continue to circle your arm down. Heavy in the hips again. Child's pose, knees are side by side. Take a second to stretch out through your back. Remember our suction cup fingertips, really engaging energy in the underarms. Tuck toes and rise to downward facing dog when you're ready. Let's just take a little swing or sway in the hips side to side. Some lifts and lowers in our heels. And when you get ready, yogis, lift your heels as high as you can. Bend your knees a little bit or a lot and press lots of length through your spine. Equal pressure from both hands. Base of thumb and index fingers are pressing in. Straighten your legs as much as it feels good, and let's roll forward into a plank position. Kneel round one, unless you feel really warm and strong already. Chest comes open, dropping chest down to elbow height. Release all the way to the floor, and let's try a Sphinx in the beginning of our practice. Unclench your buns. Let your toes be wide and free. And engage through the forearms. Press down. Squeeze elbows back towards your hips as if you could slide the flesh on your forearms forward. Eye gaze looks forward. Feels good to do this back bend. Chin to chest. Let your head hang and then feel that stretch coming in through your spine, in between your shoulder blades. Eyes back forward for Sphinx. One more breath. Release to the earth. Use your hands to press you back to child, up to downward facing dog. And when the time feels right, right leg elevates, big lift here. Look forward. We're going to step in between our thumbs. If you got stuck underneath your belly, just help your leg through. Line up your heel under your knee for safety in the joints, landing your left knee. And if you want a little roll around here first, settle in. We've come to our yoga mat to feel really good, so take as much time as that needs. Right arm rises, big twist. Right arm reaches overhead, elbow by the ear, and really lean forward. So you're finding more length in your spine, every posture. Top arm circles down. Elevate back leg, and however you can get it. Maybe we drag it into the front. However it arrives is good. Hang heavy. Let's try another roll. Nose twists to right heel, twists to left heel. And as you're twisting around the corners, we rise bit by bit. Let this be a really long, beautiful process. Now, if you have a cranky back and it doesn't like this, you can bend your knees, place your hands down, help yourself hinge up, and then do it with a straight back. When you get to the sky, rise and shine, yogis. Sink down into your chair pose, arms anywhere. Press your butt back a little bit more, lift your chest a little more. Exhale, forward fold. All right, let's go again. Left leg lunges back. On this one, can you lower your back hips but keep your knee elevated? Stay long in your side bodies. Swivel back heel down, blade edge down for warrior one on this round. Arms rise. Bending deep into your right knee. In warrior one, we attempt to swivel hips towards right knee. Whatever feels good is what you do. Clasp hands behind low back. Press knuckles to the left heel. Really chase the ground. And then fold your body forward. Belly over the right thigh. Neck long away from left heel. Release fingers. Turn left toes in. Press back to child's pose. Take a moment to yourself. Downward facing dog. Big breath in, my friends. And then roll forward into plank position. You can use your knees if you'd like. Otherwise, slowly lower flat and strong to the earth. And let's go locust this time. Walk toes out, far away from your hips. Fingers somewhere around the shoulders. Use your fingertips to help you lift upper body. Hover your fingertips, so we're using all back body strength. Lift your toes, knees, and thighs. And if you get here and you're like, I preferred Sphinx, our first option, head back to Sphinx. Take your time. One more breath in this back bend, back warming, back loving. Release, press back to child's, and in your time to dog. Tuck toes, rise. Let's make that ski slope again. Lift both heels, bend your knees, and then press back, but this time belly towards the floor. So it's like you have a ski slope in your low back. Straighten your legs as it feels good. Left leg elevates to any height, but lots of length, long and limber. Look forward, stepping to lunge. Take a second to wiggle your hips lower, heavier. When it feels good, land your right blade edge, rise to warrior one, sinking deeper into left knee if you can. A little manual adjustment of your hips may feel good. Hands clasped behind low back. Can you do the funny one? Can you wiggle your fingers over by one and make it feel a little different? Chest falls to left thigh, chin tucks, top of head lengthens. Who's breathing? If you're breathing, you know you're doing it right. That's all that matters, connecting and being present. Fingers down, right toes turn in. Step into forward fold, my friends. Really hang heavy here. So we talked about using a strap earlier. That couldn't be a fancy yoga strap, or it could be, but you could use a dog leash, a belt. There's many different things. There's great times to use them in class. This being one, you can wrap a strap around your thighs, around your calves, or you can step on it and use it to kind of pull yourself a little deeper. Not to someplace uncomfortable or to some picture in your head, someplace that you're thinking, ooh, that feels good. One more breath in this fold. Roll yourself to rise, either by spinning, by curling your spine, no matter how you arrive, slow, luxurious, relaxing. Inhale, lift. Let's add on some more fun. Big lift overhead, chair pose, sink your buns, open your heart. Exhale, forward fold. Well done, yogis. All right, carrying on. Right leg steps back again. High lunge, lengthen your sides and elevate arms. Spin your blade edge down again, but this time lands in warrior two. Stay right there, okay? Soften your arms into warrior two. Find your breath. See if you can elevate your left heel today. Just think about giving your calf a little squeeze in towards your shin. Clasping hands behind low back again. Opening your heart space. Sometimes tight chests. These muscles get really short when we drive a lot, when we hunker over our computer, or when we're on our phones a lot, leading to neck and shoulder tension. We have a lot of that these days, right? Opening chests can help. One more breath. Arms spread wide. Are you able to tug of war? With that left heel still lifted, the left side is winning. The right side is fighting back. So we want to go long and then tip. Inhale. Exhale. Think extended side angle. Reverse warrior. Breathing. Having fun. Letting loose. It's Friday after all. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful job. Heel lands. Turn all 10 toes towards the right side of your mat and sink down into a strong squat. Arms up and overhead, and then bend elbows to 90 degrees. For the men, sumo squat. For the ladies, goddess squat. No matter what, you're super strong. Sink down a little bit lower, hang in there. If your low back hurts, tuck your tailbone for more length. One more breath. Toes turn in and we wide-legged forward fold. Fingers to yoga blocks, books or the earth. Take a huge load off, my friends. Dropping all the way down. Another great time for a yoga strap. So I could lace it around my ankles. I could use it to pull myself a little deeper here. And then walk your fingertips back towards your heels. We spun our fingers around and see if you can walk a bit further behind you. Allow your head to hang extra heavy, no tension in your neck. Let's rise halfway and get our wits about us, just in case you have high blood pressure or things that make you feel really dizzy when you stand up quickly. We're gonna shift our weight over to the right side. Now listen to your knees. So I always turn my toes out, side lunge. Shift your weight over to the left. This is a low one, right? If it's too low for you, to the thighs we go. Shift. Feels good. Now, if you're up high, I want you to reach your hands out long. Opposite hand reaches. If you're on the floor, take your fingertips and walk them out. Appropriate for spooky season, right? It's kind of a creepy little wiggle side to side. One more big reach each way. And when you come back to your wide-legged squat, come into the center, rise in the arms, and let's pivot back the way we came. Left toes out, right toes in, soften right back to warrior two where we began. Wonderful job, yogis. Spin around the corner, high lunge. Exhale, release, frame out, the left foot, get long in your sides. Then flow if you choose to join me. Vinyasa flowing, or wait for us in child's pose or down dog. Inhale, roll plank. Exhale, find chaturanga. Inhale, we have options. Sphinx pose for the back bend. Locust for the back bend, or numero trace, up dog. Straighten arms, lift knees and thighs, open your heart and throat. Let's meet our friends in child's or down dog. Everyone rise to dog, please. Take a moment to let your hips be free, lifted and open. Right leg rises. Look between your thumbs. Try to crunch into that cheetah again and step strong. You there? Okay, one more big twist. Right arm rises. Inhale. Arm overhead and then circle down. Back leg steps in. Let's rise up as tall as we can. Roll to the sky, no rush. Open your arms overhead and try to lift your heels. Get taller than ever before. Really open. Can you touch your ceiling? Oh, I'm so close. Exhale, release, chair pose. Sink back, arms rise. And on this one, we lift our heels. Are you ready? Heels rise, yogis. Stay low in the buns. One more big breath. Heels fall, forward fold. All right, here we go. Left leg lunges back. Sides are long. Lift when you're ready. Spin left blade edge down. Find your warrior two. Just settle softly here. I love to give a little shimmy. Things are much too serious and oftentimes we're like, so just let go. Okay? Lift your right heel. Bend deeper. Ready to go, a little tug of warring to the right side. To the left side, let your right heel down if it's too much. Inhale, we should be enjoying this. Feels like a challenge, but feels beautifully new and good. So think extended side angle when we get to the right. Reach right side really long. Reverse warrior over here, left side really long. One more each way, breathe in. Breathe out. Heel lands, hands clasped behind low back. Just stay in your legs and really try to open your chest. Now when you do, your belly can flare open and that hurts our backs. So think about up in the chest, open in the chest, but belly, my ribs, are facing down, okay? So we stay controlled in the belly, chest open. One more big breath in. Beautiful job. Are you ready to swivel? All 10 toes towards the side of your mat so you can go sumoing or goddess squatting. Make fists get really strong here. One more big breath in. Can you sink your buns one more inch? We're gonna twist. Turn toes in, forward fold, but stay halfway lifted, yogis. Left fingertips under your chin, right arm rising. Okay, so options. We just did those side lunges. You can come over to the right side, lift the blade edge of your foot, and thread your left fingers under. Re-push down through the blade edge so you have this great twisted, wide-legged fold. You could also reach out to that right side without threading your fingers under your foot, whatever feels great. One more breath. Unwind, come back to the center, halfway lift, take a second. When you feel good, right hand or fingers down. Left arm rises. Great twist if we decide to stay here. Option to walk right fingers over to the left, possibly lifting left blade edge, and really pressing down on top of those fingers. Give a little massage for the fingers. Most importantly, yogis, we've created this beautiful space in our sides. Let's breathe into those new spaces. Top arm floats down. We come back to the center. Turn toes back out and squat so you can see me. Same thing we just did, side lunges, lower high, or skandasanas. So we're gonna shift to the right first. If you feel like you could get a little lower, left toes rise. We sit in the right heel. This is scary. So I could bring one foot, one hand in front, one hand in back. If I feel like I can sit, then I can bring prayer hands, or I can open my arms. Option, I'm just staying up here in side lunge, getting great benefits no matter where I am. One more breath. Soften your left knee. Try to travel over softly to that left side. Stay low, stay high, or if possible, rotate right foot up. Sink into your buns, into the left heel. Options, hand in front and back. That's really supportive. I love this one. Makes you feel like you're getting low, but you're not so scared. Hands in prayer or hands open. Stay with it for 2 more breaths wherever you are. Coming back to regular side lunge on the left. Back into the center. And then let's go through one more vinyasa flow. Turning back to the right foot, back into our lunge. When you get ready, find child's or down dog. This is an optional vinyasa. If you're ready to roll with me, let's literally do that. Roll forward into plank, inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. So we do our sphinx, our locust, or our up dogs, whatever your body's calling for now. Exhale, push back. And before we move on, let's do one more little fun thing, guys. Left leg steps in between the thumbs. Get a twist on, breathe in. Breathe your elbow overhead. Continue on this slow circular path to the floor, but then push back again, down dog. I want to get some yogi squats in. So we're going to step in and out of squat. Option is to jump, but we'll work through it slowly. Look at your left pinky. Step your left foot outside there. If you got stuck somewhere, help it, help it, help it till it's there. Long, low lunge. Stay for a moment, no rush. Right foot does the same. And then we have a yogi squat. We can sit up high, even higher. We can get low, you choose. Right back into that wide-legged position. Step your right leg back. Step your left leg back. All right, guys, we're back to dog. We're gonna do it again, starting with the right foot, but option is to look forward, bend your knees, and jump your feet out, meeting us in squat. If you're with me stepping, look to right pinky finger, right foot steps there. Left foot steps there. Lift chest, find length. Sink down to your heart's desire. One more little round. Lift up to wide-legged fold. Step, step, push back to dog. Don't jump back, only jump forward, my friends. So if you're jumping, look forward. Make a little soft landing outside the feet. Otherwise, step left foot, find long sides. Step right foot, lift your chest. One big breath together in yogi squat. I love a little movement, some sway. Oh, yeah. Working into the hips. All right, who's in for some balances? Let's turn toes in, wide-legged forward fold. Roll on up to the sky. We're gonna go for some leg extensions today. So when you've arrived, bend your knees and hop together or toe heel or step in. Take a hold of your left knee like a basket. Clasp your hands and hug it into your basket. Try to lift up tall and then maybe lean back a little bit. Going for our right. See if I lean back, I get my right psoas a little bit longer. If this bothers your back, you just stay upright and keep on hugging your knee in. Come back to center. Extend arms out. Stay strong in your quads. Stay lifted. And extend leg forward. Now listen, we could be here and we can be here. It doesn't have to be elevated to any certain height. Hold, use your quad strength, your thigh strength. And then if possible, right hand to the outside of your left leg. Twist open, option, keep it bent. A little bit less intense, still a big deal. Keep squeezing through the inner thigh so we have squared hips as we twist. One more big breath in. Come back in, hug your knee, give it a break. And then pull your heel behind you, our first quad stretch. Arms rise up and overhead. Tipping over to the left side. Keep your knees squeezing together here. Give a good squeeze by bending your left elbow. Another time that you could have a dog leash, a belt, or a yoga strap. Lasso it around the top of your foot. Hold the ends together and get a hold of your leg a little bit more deeply. Coming out of our tip. One more leg extension. Send it forward. You can always hold. We can stay bent, or you squeeze through your quad and lift as high as you can. Stay strong. Flare your toes up and wave at me. Let your knee down. Whoo, shake it off. Feel your hip flexor? So if it feels not good, you just give it a little love. Release, release. Shake your hips, whatever feels good. Let's go to the other side. Scoop up your right knee. Hug it in. It's okay if you have to get down to hug it in if you can't stand up with it. And if you feel good, we're going to try to stretch open the left hip flexor. Ready? Lift, tip. Lift long. Always lift and then tip. Keep breathing. One more big breath in. Come back to standing. See if you can extend your arms. Woo, it's tough. So we're open-minded and we're curious. So if you fall out, you come back when you can. Extend your leg. Think squeeze. Think open toes. Try to wrap the left arm around the right thigh. Right arm behind you. We can keep the knee bent for a bit easier. Could be on the floor for a bit less intense. All the way back to the center. One more leg extension. Heel to butt on the right side. Right hand reaches back to grab it. Left arm overhead. Now if our legs come open, it's okay, but try to get them together. Safety in the knee joint when it's under your hip like this. Tip to the right if you're ready. Most importantly, soften facial features. Wiggle left toes. Left arm reaches out. Take a big breath in. One more knee lift. Give it a big old squeeze. And then release. Shake that out. All right, my friends, let's get to the mat for more quad stretching. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Definitely finding some soft things for your knees. We'll be kneeling for a bit. Take your right leg back for a huge lunge and then get heavy in your hips. Land your right knee and widen your left toes. If they're under your nose, take them outside of your shoulder, both hands inside your left knee. Lizard lunge. So we're just gonna get cozy here. Now, if your kneecap really hurts, walk your toes back further so you're more like on that fatty pad on top of your kneecap rather than smack on top of the bone. And then if you don't have a pad, you can simply roll your mat like this. Put it right under your kneecap. It feels really nice that way. Okay, yogis, once you're lengthened, you can feel free to stay here in lizard, even lowering deeper. But I want to put the emphasis on the quad stretching today. So when you're ready, this is a tough one. Right hand stays down, left arm reaches up and back, thumbs up. Just see how you feel there. Circle your shoulder. Kick your right heel into your butt and then see if you can get a hold. Outside of your leg would be best. That way our thumb is turned up and our shoulder is turning open. Now we're going to pay attention to our left knees once we've arrived. Left knees are going to stay in towards left shoulders. If you really feel like I want to open that leg, it's going to feel so good if I do. That's okay. As long as you promise you'll keep your left foot flexed so we don't have any, I'll show you what it looks like, banana ankles. No good for the ankles. Flex your foot and let it fall out. Same thing, if you want to get lower and just chill out here. I say that word very casually, but I don't feel like I'm really chilling out. It's definitely extremely intense. So if you're like, holy moly, this is hard, I'm right there with you. Just breathing, yogis. It's all about practice, spending time. Woo, woo-wee. Okay, one more big breath in. Let's let that leg go. Come on back up to regular old friendly lizard, much better, right? Elevate your back knee and give yourself a little movement forward and back. Option, stay right here in this lizard, or if you want to have a bit more fun, we're going to take the left arm forward and crunch the right knee in towards the left elbow. Step back to lizard lunge, getting a little core in this lizard. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Let's do one more for good measure, just in case you didn't get all 4 years in. Squeeze, extend. When you're ready, step forward to wide-legged forward fold. Whoo, you deserve it, yogis. Take a moment, just relax. Okay, no rush to get there, but when you're ready, we're gonna step our left legs back, making sure your right foot is still out wide, and then definitely drop to your left knee for our wide lunge, known as lizard lunge. Another great time for blocks, books, pillows, anything that you can build yourself up. You could also stay up on your right thigh, and if it's still too much for your hips, whoosh, back out. Just stay here. If you feel like you'd like to add on, right arm is taking a big circle back, piece by piece, yogis, just really slow. See how your shoulder feels. Watch what happens if I have my thumb down. So see how shoulders come forward, it's not so open. That's why I ask you to try, thumb up, heel towards your butt, So if I were to get a hold of the inside of my leg, my shoulder turns down, not the worst thing in the world, just seeing if we're able to grab the outside of the foot. Very strongly flexed in right ankle. If you must, it stays flexed as you send your right knee wide. Otherwise, we can just keep our hips towards one another today for our lizard quad stretch. Options, get a little lower, get a whole lot more intense on your quad stretch though. And it's all about the feels, yogis, all about being able to breathe fully and easily, staying present and enjoying the breath. So if what you're doing in your body is too intense, back way off. Even take moments of rest in child's pose, seated or in down dog. One more big breath in here. If you can make it a big one, all the way down to your quad you're stretching, down into your pelvic bowl, fill it up. Exhale, release, and we're gonna spend a few more breaths in lizard, or if your knee was out, bring it in, because we have that crunch option. We can extend our right arm forward. We have to elevate our left knee for this one. And from here, you can crunch, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Crunch. Inhale, extend. Crunch. Who's got one more in them? Finding that lizard pose, pressing back to downward facing dog this time, and letting your hips have a wiggle. Now this one is entirely for fun, yogis. We're gonna take our legs wide as the mat, left to right, and then turn your right toes out. You may wanna bring them more into the center. Place that foot fully flat in your downward facing dog. So it's a goofy one in our quad stretching theme for today. Left heel rises, three-legged dog, heel to butt. Now make sure your toes are turned down on the right foot, but not so much that it hurts your knee. Just get stable in that right foot. Left heel's at your butt. You're gonna reach your right arm around, grab a hold of the top of your left foot, and keep pushing yourself back in downward facing dog. One more funky quad stretch for us. Extend when you've had enough. It's okay if you wobbled out or you couldn't get it. That's how I usually am. And then drop back to dog with both heels just loose, kind of doing your shakeout thing. In your time, yogis, left foot, toes turn out, that foot comes flat. I bring mine right to the middle of my mat. I think that's a bit more steady. Right leg rises. Now make sure your left knee feels okay. Right heel to butt, and your left hand reaches around the corner for the top of your foot. Then press out of your right hand, push your chest back. Is this not the funkiest down dog you've ever done? Funky Friday. One more big breath in. Whatever you're doing is great, yogis. Release, slow and steady if possible. Tap toes, and then shake out that crazy down dog we just did. Let's drop to our knees and find a gate pose. Whoo-wee. Right hand under your nose. Left heel spins behind your right heel spins behind your right knee as you extend your left leg out. So that's really important that your right heel is behind your right knee. Coming open for gate pose. So if you were a little congested, bring your right arm out so you feel really open. Send the left leg out. Left arm overhead. Does anyone know where we're going? It starts with a Q and ends with a D. Quad. Quad stretching. So reach on back. It's okay if you can't get it. Great time to lasso it up with your yoga prep or just reach for it. Pressing out through your kneecap, especially if you do have a hold of your foot. Push your kneecap to that side wall, just like you did your foot a moment ago. And then we have one more funky hip stretch. Let's extend back out into gate. If possible, this time hug your kneecap, and we're gonna pull it up to the sky. It's called half frog gate pose. Take in one more big breath. Let's wave with our left yoga toes. Stay open and free. One more gate pose. Round the corner, back to tabletop. Remember to spin your right heel behind the right knee. And then just take a moment down on your forearms for cat-cow. Give your wrist a break. Exhale first, yogis, rounding your back to the sky. Inhale, navel to floor, top of head and tail to ceiling. Exhale, round. Inhale, roll open in the stomach. Exhale, round. Last big opening, find your cow posture. And then let's come on back up. So we're gonna find tabletop. When you're ready, left hand under your nose. And as you start to kick your right leg back and open your right arm, spin your left heel behind your knee. So you're real safe. Joints are all stacked in a beautiful alignment. And let's find some energy in them. Right heel, push away, really open up. Right arm, reach away. Remember where we're going? Boom. One more quad stretch. I'm looking at the time. It might be our last one. I may be able to finagle one more in for today. Stay really long. So if we aren't grabbing the foot, just keep opening away from one another. If we are grabbing the foot, counter pressure. Pull heel to butt as you push your kneecap to the right side. Feels so good. Take another big breath in. Reach all the way back out. Super slowly circle back down, letting everything go. Swivel your left heel back in behind your knee. Coming back to forearms, but this time for dolphin pose. So our two arm alignments, wrists in front of elbows is what I'd like you to work towards. Lift your hips high like we're coming into down dog, but walk your toes forward towards your elbows. The other option is clasping our hands, and our pinky side would be down on the mat. That's a bit less intense. On the shoulders, great for those of us who are very strong in the shoulders and we need a little extra help. Press your forearms down so strong, yogis, that your head starts moving back towards your toes. Stay breathing here, hang on. If you're shaking, you're doing it right. It's a very challenging pose. Press back again, 2 more breaths, nose towards toes. One more big breath in. Dropping down through the knees. Walk back up to hands. Sit on your heels with tops of feet flat and bring knees side by side. Just take a second. Sometimes we get a little woo after that. We're gonna go for those front ankle stretches. We've been working on these. These are a doozy. Take your left fingers back, hold your right kneecap, and then lean your chest back so you're lifting, pushing out of the top of your foot, right? Maybe even through your toenails to lift your knee. Feel the front of your shin and ankle stretching. Release that right fingers back, hold the left knee, try to lift it up. I want you to use your chest and your torso to really lean back, because if I just stay here and lift my knee, I'm like, oh, cool. But if I lean back, oh yeah, that's where it is. So what we're stretching is all on here. If you don't feel it, just try to lean back with your chest a little bit more. Okay, if possible, we're doing both. If that's not available to you, just do each side one more time. For both, again, we get a hold of the knees, but really we have to lean back, because with me holding my knees, can't go anywhere. I've got to lean back, so I am rocking my chest back. My knees get a little bit more accessible if I can really lift and stretch open through the front of ankles. If you're like, that girl's a freak show, I can't do this, I can promise you it is something you can do. It just takes practice. And if this is a new stretch for you, it's going to be very unavailable in the beginning. You practice, you'll get it. One more big breath. Release, that's a lot for the ankles, so rock forward, tuck your toes slowly, flexing the other way now. Whew, that's a lot of movement in that joint there. Take a second to just relax. And when you're ready, my friends, dropping down to buns. We're going wide-legged today. Let's bring our knees to our chest. Sit our chests forward, extend legs straight, and then guide them open. So we're nice to our hips when we move that way. Might want to move the flesh of our thighs back a little bit. Gets caught under our bones sometimes. And then we lift our hips and move our tailbones back even more. So now I have the ability to fold here. I'm gonna take my fingers to the earth as far as they can go and continue walking forward. Flex feet, really push long, forward. Go again, reach. So if we aren't able to reach the floor, think about climbing an invisible rope, but I just want you to get longer in your spine, longer, even if you're not folding, it's okay, reach. We're gonna go for 2 more big reaches. If you're on the floor like a lazy cat in a sliver of sunshine, get warm and cozy. When you're ready to surrender, land you're as long as you can so you can round your back. Tuck your chin to your chest and just let go for a moment. Rise up through your chest. Use your hands to support you in this lift. And then we're going to take some side bends. Sweep arms to the sky. Let left arm fall just like we did before, out to the side, and then tip over, reaching with the right hand. Come up to center. Right arm falls to your side. Really soft down there, like a buoy. This feels really good. Stay for a while. You don't have to leave. Left arm behind you. Reach up with the right fingers. Right arm behind you. Notice how we're reaching to a little bit of a different place. Think reaching up, never like I want to reach back there to the floor. Up and away. One more each side. Left arm forward on the diagonal. Reach over, new spot. Center rise. Right arm front diagonal, lift up and over. Oh, so nice. We're gonna go through that again, but my friends, land at the side. If you have to leave at 1:55, I'm sad to say it's time. Seems to fly by in the blink of an eye. Wonderful to see you today. Have a lovely weekend and namaste. Thank you. Left arm comes behind you. Reach over. Right arm behind you. Finding all the different ways we can open and stretch. Eye gaze wherever it feels good. Beneficial to your stretch. Left arm forward. Back to the center. Use your breath. Inhale. Keep inhaling as you stretch a little further. Exhale, come back to the center. Let's close our legs. Now really support them. So you may want to help lift them, especially because your hip flexors get a little cranky. So work those out if you need to. Bend your knees again, hug your shins, and really pull your chest forward. Then send your legs back out. Push heels forward, but equally take your sits bones and walk them back. So I could just sit here and push forward all day. I'm not going to get as far as if I lift and sit the hip back. Lift and sit the hip back. Feels a little better, right? Let's fold again. Inhale, we're gonna go rope climbing. So we can exhale and then walk fingertips on the earth. Think about lift, reach, lift. Or we can come forward, reach, climb that rope. I wanna get as long as I can. Fill up with breath. Lift each rib from the one below it, from the hip bone beneath it, from the sits bones beneath that. 3, 2, and 1. Go as far as you can. Release. Another great time to get something soft for under your belly, literally cuddling up. When you got your spine as long as possible, you reward yourself with this beautiful, round, surrendering stretch. In your time, yogis, fingers under shoulders. Lift your body up just a little bit, just enough that you can begin to roll back. Holding on to bent knees or thighs is going to be easier, but maybe you want the challenge today of keeping your legs straight. Rolling back, try to keep your heels on the earth if you can. And I fit it in, one more quad stretch. We're going to come heels bent under knees. Allow your feet to widen as wide as your mat, and then let them fall to the left side. As you do, see if you can tuck your right toes under and grab a hold of the top of your right foot. We call this stretch cattail. Like you're holding on to your little tail behind your back. Eyes can move to the right to deepen your stretch. Letting go of the top of your right foot. Let your toes come back out and swish your knees over to the right. If you can tuck your left toes under, you might be able to reach them with your left hand. Grab a hold of your little cattail. Eye gaze can look to the right to help you deepen just a little bit more. Back to the center with eyes. Let your left toes tuck under so you can scoot your knees back to the ceiling. And then keep feet wide, but steeple knees together, widening out your low back. Let's end class reversing the blood flow today. We're going to take our toes to the ceiling. If you do have a yoga block or a pillow or a book that you want to place under your sacrum, your low back, you can boost your hips up. We're letting everything drain out of our legs and come down to reverse all that beautifully oxygenated blood flow. This posture is called waterfall. Really beautiful, soft way to end class. No tightness in your feet. Roll your ankles around. Scrunch your toes and let them go. And let your toes fall in. Allow your knees to be soft. Now, my friends, if you have 3 to 5 more minutes that you can dedicate to your practice today, I would love for you to stay right where you are. If you absolutely have to go, rocking either from this lying position up to seated or rolling over to your side, fetal position, using your top hand to press you back up to a seated posture. One of the most important parts of our practice, finding gratitude for the time that we dedicated to our self-care today, gratitude for the simple fact that we have these beautiful breaths, and gratitude towards one another, this very beautifully friendly, welcoming community to practice within. My friends, as you join me at Heart Center, the light in me honors, acknowledges, is inspired by, humbled by, and so grateful for the light that is each and every one of you. Until next week, namaste.